Hello students, welcome to another class of your Java lab. The topic that we will be continuing is abstraction that we started in our last class. In last class, we saw that the concept of abstraction was implemented using abstract class, abstract method and stuff like that. Today we will see how the concept of abstraction is implemented using interface. Now before we talk about interface, we should first before we talk about interface in Java, we should first understand what interface is or how interface plays an important role in our regular life. Now most of you have played video games or computer games, and you have continuously talked about this fact that the interface of this game is good, the interface of that game is not smooth enough, or this interface is graphically more enhanced compared to the other game or the previous version and stuff like that. Or even for different applications, for apps that you have downloaded from Google Play Store, you have continuously commented that the interface is not good. What did you mean by the term interface? In your subconscious mind, you always associated interface with the look of the application or the look of that particular game. Have you ever thought that what does this interface do apart from presenting a very beautiful organization of different functionalities of that particular application, or presenting a very beautiful gaming environment in front of you? The interface is actually acting as a curtain between you and the actual program. Whenever a game developer develops a game, he writes around tens of thousands of lines of code just to develop a certain part of the game. But whenever you are playing the game, you don't go and check the different lines of code. What you see is a very smooth interface. You see, I mean, if you are playing PUBG, I don't know, I have not played PUBG, but I have some idea. So whenever you are playing PUBG, you are interacting with some other player, and you are passing comments, you are organizing how to attack and stuff like that. But what is happening at the back end? How is your command, or how is you controlling the game being actually implemented in the gaming environment? That is done by the few lines of code that the game developer has already written. But are you able to see the code? No, because there is a curtain between you and the actual code, that is interface. So whenever I'm saying that you are implementing the functionality of that particular code, but you are not able to see the code, what does it click in your mind? What concept is that in Java? Please pause the video and write down in the comment section real fast that what do you think that this particular concept is all about, that you are able to implement the functionality of that particular line of code, but you are not able to see the code. Okay, I hope you have already written it. It's abstraction, and a certain abstraction is created in front of you where you are implementing the functionality, but you are not able to see the what the actual thing is written. Same way in Java, to implement 100% abstraction, the best way is to implement it using interface. There are various advantages of interface. Number one is that it provides 100% abstraction. Second, and most important thing, and note it for your interview purpose also, you will be asked this question that we all know, whenever we when we attended the class for inheritance, we particularly mentioned that multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java. Using the keyword extends, we cannot apply multiple inheritance in Java. I also discussed what the actual reason is. So please pause the video and write down in the comment section what you remember about that particular reason why we cannot implement multiple inheritance in Java using the extends keyword. But using interface, we can implement the functionality of that particular multiple inheritance. Functionality means the flavor of how multiple inheritance works. We can implement the same using interface. And lastly, interface helps us with loose coupling. I will explain the term loose coupling also here. So let's start with our particular topic for today, that is interface in Java. So here is the definition for interface in front of you. Interface is an abstract type that is used to specify a certain behavior that all classes should implement. What we do with the interface, first note the different keywords, because whenever you're writing any answer, mind it that along with you, 1,000 other students are also writing the same answer. And if it's a definition, obviously 900 other students also will be writing the same definition as you. So just to make sure that your answer is easy to read and you score better marks, it's important that you underline the keywords. That way the whoever is checking your answer script, it will be easier for that person to read your answer script and mark you. So what are the keywords that you have to follow in this particular definition? Interface is an abstract type. Obviously that particular keyword, it is I mean the meaning is there that interface is something that supports abstraction, the concept of abstraction. So interface is an abstract type that is used to specify a certain behavior. Interface is giving us a certain behavior in the form of abstract method, but in interface we are not going to write the method with the keyword abstract. Rather the compiler with some internal mechanism will attach the keyword abstract with it. When we will see the syntax of interface, we will get a clear idea as how we write method in that there. But the method, whatever method we will be implementing inside the interface, that will certainly be an abstract method, which actually denotes a certain behavior. Because whenever we are talking about method means it is showing us some kind of behavior of that particular object. A car is an object and its method can be change gear or increase in speed, right? So running, the car is running, or the car is waiting to get petrol. So whenever we are attaching a method with an object, we are actually describing the behavior of that particular object, and that abstract method can be declared inside the interface. So till here what it is clear, I guess. Interface is an abstract type that is used to specify a certain behavior that all classes should implement. All classes should implement. Whichever class is implementing the interface, that particular class has to override that particular abstract method that has been declared within the interface. Please write down in your copy. Whichever class is implementing the interface, they have to override the abstract method that has been implemented or rather declared inside the interface. Now we will be moving on to why do we need interface and the syntax of interface and stuff like that. So this is the basic syntax of interface. How do we write interface? First the keyword interface, followed by, we don't put this bracket, I have just put this bracket so that I can specify the interface name comes here. What do we write? Interface space any name that you want to give for that particular interface. The bracket opens and the bracket closes. So this is the scope of the interface, right? And inside the interface, what can we put? We can declare constant fields. Whenever we are saying constant fields, we mean we can give final variables whose values will not be changing. So those will be final variables, and declare methods which are abstract. This has already been discussed before. So next we will be giving a quick recap of multiple inheritance, and then we will be jumping to interface. Since I have already mentioned that interface helps us to implement the concept of multiple inheritance. So if you have forgotten what multiple inheritance, how multiple inheritance can be implemented. So here is a quick recap. Parent class A and parent class B. We have two parent classes and we are extending, if that is even possible, we will be extending both the parent classes into this child class C. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to inherit the properties of both parent class A and parent class B in child class C. Using the extends keyword, that is not possible, but using interface, we will make it possible. We will see an example as how we can implement multiple inheritance. And also, this is important for a university exam. This question comes as what problem cannot be implemented using inheritance but can be implemented using interface. The answer that they are actually looking for is diamond problem. How does this diamond problem look like? Same thing. There will be a superclass. From the superclass, we can inherit the properties in class A and class B. But from class A and class B, from both the classes, from two parent classes at the same time, we cannot inherit their properties in a particular child class C. So this particular problem is known as diamond problem. Next, we will be talking about the different aspects on which class and interface differs. We will see how the difference works. So these are mostly the areas depending on which we can point out where class and interface differs. Firstly, on multiple inheritance, a class cannot support multiple inheritance, but interface can support multiple inheritance. On the basis of data member, class includes data members, but interface does not include data members, only methods. But there is a catch: we can include data members, but those data members become final. So anyway, if we are putting data members, they are becoming final, they are becoming unchangeable. So that loses the property of data members, that is, we cannot modify it anymore. Next thing is that constructor. Classes have constructor and interface does not have constructor. Next, we come to access modifier. Classes include access modifier. Interface does not have access modifier. Lastly, we have complete and incomplete members. What do we mean by that? Classes include both complete and incomplete members. When we say complete member, we mean that abstract members which get their definition when they are implemented in the following classes. I mean, whoever extends the particular class, if they override, they can absolutely implement the abstract method, and incomplete members also. But in interface, it always includes incomplete members, or rather the signature of that member. Signature of that member means we are only declaring the method, we are not even putting the abstract keyword in front of it. So it depends on whoever implements that particular interface, they only get to override that particular member. So these are the points depending on which the difference between class and interface can be jotted down. We have already discussed this point. Next, we will be moving on to what are the advantages and disadvantages of interface. So here are the advantages and disadvantages of using an interface. What are the advantages? Obviously, multiple inheritance. First point you should always remember about the advantage of interface is that it helps us to implement the concept of multiple inheritance, which is otherwise not possible in Java using the extends keyword. I'm repeating it again and again, so please note it down. And second thing is that loose coupling. Now I will discuss what is loose coupling. Loose, the word loose means it is not tight, obviously opposite of tight is loose. And coupling, what does coupling mean? Coupling means it is providing some kind of dependency. Using interface, what we will see, I will give you an example of loose coupling also, that we will see dependency between class and object, this decreases while we use an interface. So that whenever interface function to break up the complex design and clear the dependencies between objects, this is what loose coupling is all about. As we see the example, we will get a better idea. And disadvantages is that these are slower and more limited than other ones, the interface. And as for interface, the second disadvantage is that should be used multiple number of times, else there is no point in having them. So we will jump into the next topic. Now these are the very two important questions that you can face in your interview. First question is that, can we instantiate an interface? Quickly pause this video and write down in the comment section what do you understand by the term instantiate. If this word is presented in front of you, what comes in your mind about instantiation? So coming back to the question, can we instantiate an interface? The answer is no. The answer is no, because we cannot create the object of an interface. Since there is the constructor for an interface, as we discussed previously while we were discussing about the difference between class and object, as we have discussed whether interface can have constructor or not, we came to the conclusion that no, an interface cannot have constructor. Therefore, we cannot create object of an interface, and thereby we cannot instantiate an interface. Coming to the second question, what degree of abstraction does an interface provide? Interface provides full abstraction. interface provides full abstraction. Now the interviewer may ask you why. Why do you claim that the interface will be providing full abstraction? The answer is that none of its methods have body. None of the methods that we write in an interface have bodies. Therefore, we can conclude that interface provides full abstraction. Next, we will be seeing what are the internal additions that a compiler makes in an interface, and what are the relationship between classes and interfaces. So here comes the picture as how we are going to implement interface. The different things that we have to remember while implementation of interface. First thing is that the keyword implement. The keyword implement is used by a class to implement an interface. We will see in an example how we use that. Second thing is that the method in an interface must be provided as public before implementing it in any class. What I am repeating, the method in an interface must be provided as public before implementing it in any class. Third thing is that classes must implement all the methods declared in an interface, or else it must be declared as an abstract class. Clear? So next we will be jumping into the internal additions that are made by the compiler in an interface. So here we come across the internal addition made by a compiler in a piece of code that we write for interface. Supposedly we write this piece of code in file.java. So after going through this line of code, what the compiler does? What we have written that interface add is the name of the interface. The bracket is opening here and closing here. So this is the scope of the interface. Next, inside the scope, what we have? An integer type variable named m, which is having the value 5, and we have a method print which is of return type void. Simple. So after compiler goes through this line of code, what does it do? Same interface add, that remains same. Now for the particular integer type variable m, what are the additions that the compiler has made? Public. This is an access modifier, public has been added. Static, final. So you can see the 3 additions that has been made by this compiler for this particular integer type variable, that is, it is becoming public, the variable has been made static, and the variable has been made final. Therefore, the variable becomes unchangeable. Its value cannot be changed from 5 to anything else there will be some error. What about the particular method print, which has a return type void? That particular method print becomes public type method, and it is an abstract method, void print. See, I already told that whatever we are writing inside the interface, whatever method signature we are putting, that will become abstract. So this abstract keyword is added to this particular line of code by the compiler itself. Next, we will be seeing the relationship between class and interface, how the class and interface works with each other. So this is the relationship that is shared between a class and an interface. Between two classes, we have the relationship that is implemented using the keyword extends. Extends. So inheritance relationship between two classes, the child class and the parent class and the child class, is established using the keyword extends. The relationship between a class and an interface is established using the keyword implements, and the relationship between two interfaces is established using the keyword extends. From this, we can conclude that there can be a relationship of inheritance between two interfaces, just like the relationship between two classes of, the relationship of inheritance that can exist between two classes. Same thing can happen for interface. Now, right away, we will be jumping to different examples of interface. So this is the very first example of interface. This example has been taken just to show you the syntax of how interface should be implemented. So what we have done, the keyword interface followed by the name. The name printable is the name of the interface. Next, in that interface, this is the scope of the interface. Within that scope, what we have done, we have given a void print. Obviously, this is the abstract method print. Okay. Next, class test implements printable. Implements keyword has been used to implement this particular interface. Okay, implements. Within that, we are overriding this particular abstract method. We are overriding this particular abstract method print within the class, which is implementing the interface. So what we have done inside that particular print method, we have simply printed a hello. Next, in public static void main string argument, this is the main method. Inside that main method, we have created an object of this test class. Test obj equals to new test, and using obj, we are calling that particular print method that has got its, that was an abstract method inside the interface, but got its definition inside that particular class test. So using that object of class test, we are calling the print method of this particular test class, and we will be getting the output. We are supposed to get the output hello. So let's see in the code whether we are actually getting the output hello or not. So this is the particular code that has already been shown on the board. Here we are using the name printable for the particular interface. I am highlighting the portion that I am going to explain. So interface, the name of the interface is printable, and inside that we have this print method, which is an abstract method. Next, in class, this is the name of the class, interface underscore class. We use the keyword implements to implement the interface printable. Next, we are overriding. See, NetBeans has already added this annotation override. So what we are doing, we are overriding this particular print method, and we have already discussed that while overriding the method, we have to make it public. So public void print. Inside that print, I have given a print statement that this is the implementation of print method of interface. Next, what I am doing, public static void main string argument. I am creating an object of the interface underscore class, because that is the class which is holding my main method. I'm creating an object of that class using the new keyword and a constructor, default constructor of that class, and I'm calling the print method, the overridden print method, which got its definition inside the interface class. I have called that particular method using that object of the particular class. So let's see what the output is coming to be. See, I'm getting the output. This is the implementation of print method of interface. So the here so you can see that what I was printing in on the board, that hello, the same type of message when I'm trying to print, it is getting printed. So we will be jumping to the next example now. So this is the second example of your interface. This example is particularly applicable for loose coupling. To understand the concept of loose coupling, this particular example can be used. Just a minute, let me adjust. I hope you are able to see the entire board. I hope it is visible now. Okay. So what I have done, there is an interface with the name drawable. Inside that, I have implemented an abstract method draw. Obviously, I'm not using the keyword abstract. The compiler itself will do that. Next, what I am doing, class rectangle implements drawable. So rectangle is implementing drawable. Obviously, I have to override the draw method inside rectangle, making it public. So I'm just printing here rectangle, and this particular rectangle class ends here. Okay. Next, what I am doing, there is another class circle which implements drawable. So here also I have to override the abstract method draw, and inside that I am printing circle, right? And the circle class ends here. Next, inside class test, we are implementing public static void main string argument. Here I have a reference of this particular interface. Mind it, this is not an object of the interface drawable. This is simply a reference of interface drawable. Unless and until we use the keyword new and we call the constructor, we cannot instantiate or we cannot allocate memory to that particular object. So as of now, this is just a reference. Next, this is becoming an object when we are using the new keyword and we are calling the default constructor of rectangle class. and we are writing here d dot draw. So what this d dot draw will be doing, since it has become an object of rectangle class, it will be calling the draw method of rectangle class, and we are for this particular line we are supposed to get the output, the message is rectangle. Next, the same reference of interface drawable, that is D, gets its memory allocation. It is being used, and it gets its memory allocation using the keyword new and the constructor of the class circle, the default constructor of class circle. Next, we are using the, now has become, this D has become an object of class circle. So we are using the object of class circle, and we are writing d dot draw. So where will it point? D dot draw will be calling the method of class circle. The method draw, which got its definition in class circle, this will be called now, and we are supposed to get the output as circle, because the print statement within that draw method has the messages circle. Now, why is this a very convenient example of loose coupling? What I have mentioned about loose coupling is that it reduces the dependencies between objects. So here we see, if we are planning to add another class here, another type of shape here, say we are planning to include square. So what we will be, next we will be writing class square implements drawable, public void draw, and SOP, supposedly we are printing square. Next, what we have to do, we can use the same reference of interface drawable, and we can create an object out of it using new keyword and default constructor of square, and we can call the draw method that got its definition inside square class by using that object d dot draw, and that will be calling the method of square class. So what we see, as and when we want, we can add new shapes to this particular code without making any change inside this particular interface. This particular interface or the other classes remain unchanged. There is no change in code that is being made to the previous codes that are already existing inside this Java file. All we have to do is insert a new class, override the abstract method, make an object of that class, and call that overridden method. That is all the changes that we have to make. So by this we understand the dependencies between different objects that are loosening up, that are becoming weak. So whenever we want, we can add a class. Whenever we want, we can remove a class. This is a classic example of loose coupling. So let's see in code how does it work. So let's start with this particular example of loose coupling. What I have done is that there is an interface drawable. Inside that there is an abstract method draw. Next, what we are doing, class rect or rectangle implements drawable. So we are overriding the abstract method draw, and we are printing the message drawing rectangle. Same goes for class circle, which implements the interface drawable, and we are overriding the abstract method draw. Next, we have commented out another thing, which I will remove the comment, and I will show you what the working goes like. So in class loose couple, we have our main method, and we are creating a reference of the interface drawable, that is D, and we are turning it into an object using the new keyword. And first we are turning it into an object of class circle by using the default constructor of circle, and next we are turning it into our object of class rectangle. Before rectangle, we are calling the draw method that has got its definition inside the circle class, and next we are calling the draw method, which got its definition inside the rectangle class. So what are the outputs that we are getting? Drawing circle and drawing rectangle. Since we have called the draw method of circle first, therefore drawing circle has printed first in the first line. Next comes drawing rectangle. So what happens if I add another shape here? So I'm adding the shape square. So class square implements drawable, and it is overriding the abstract method draw. And what is the what I am doing inside that method? I'm simply printing drawing square. Next, what I'm doing is that I'm creating an object for that particular class using the reference of the interface, that is D. So D equals to new square D dot draw. So this D dot draw is supposed to implement this particular abstract, overridden draw method that got this definition inside the square class. So let's see what the output is coming to be. If we are adding a new shape without making any changes to the shape of interface, will it work or not? Let's see. Yes, it's perfectly working. What are the outputs that we are getting here? Drawing circle, drawing rectangle, because those things already exist. Now the new shape that has been added is drawing square. So this way we can understand that by adding a new shape to the particular code, we don't have to make any changes to the previous code, just some new additions should be made, and that's it. So next we will be jumping to the third example. So this is our third example of interface, and in this particular example we will be getting an idea of how multiple inheritance can be implemented using interface. This is a very important example, so please concentrate. What I have done is that interface int1, this is our first interface. Inside that I have an abstract method mi1, method of interface 1, I have written in short, and I have closed this interface here. Next, what I have another interface, int2, interface 2. Inside that I have method of interface 2, and interface 2 ends here. Next, what happens? Class multiple inheritance, mul and inh, I have just written the short form. Class multiple inheritance implements int1 comma int2, int1 comma int2. So this one is getting implemented and this one is getting implemented. Therefore, how it is actually working? Int1, int2, both the properties are getting implemented inside multiple inheritance. So this looks like multiple inheritance, right? And this can be implemented using interface. Next, what I have done, and I'm overriding both the methods, mi1. So mi1 gets overridden here. What I'm doing, I'm printing hi, and for mi2, this gets overridden here. I'm printing hello. Next, inside my main method, string argument, polystatic void main, I am creating an object of this particular class. This particular class which has implemented both the interfaces int1 and int2. I'm creating an object of that particular class using the new keyword and default constructor of that class, and using that object of that class, I'm calling the overridden methods. So b.mi1 will be pointing to this particular method, and for this particular line we are supposed to get the output as hi, and this will be pointing here, and for this particular line we are supposed to get the output as hello. All you have to concentrate on is this part. Class name implements for interface 1's name, comma interface 2's name. This is how we are going to implement the concept of multiple inheritance. Next, in a code we will see how this is actually working. So this is the example of our this is the third example in NetBeans that I have implemented, and this is an example of multiple inheritance. How does this work? So what I have done, same thing that I have shown on board. Interface int1, there we have the method of interface 1, just the signature. Next we have another interface int2, and same the method of int2, just the signature. Next, what we are doing, we have a class multiple inheritance which implements, this line is very important, which implements int1 comma int2. This is how we are going to implement the concept of multiple inheritance. Next, what we are doing, we are simply overriding both the methods. Method of int1, we are just printing interface 1 method. Method of int2, we are printing interface 2 method. Next, in public static void main, we are creating an object of the particular class in which the main method is residing, and which is holding the definition of the abstract methods, method of int1 and method of int2, the overridden methods. So we are creating an object of that particular class using the new keyword and the default constructor of the class. And next, using that particular object, we are calling those overridden methods. So let's see what the output is coming to be. See, interface 1 is one method and interface 2 method. Therefore, we are capable of getting output, or rather the print statements of both the methods of two different interfaces by using one particular class. Okay. So this is how multiple inheritance is implemented in Java using interface. And the next example, possibly we will be seeing and example of how in the inheritance, I mean, in the relationship of inheritance works between two interfaces. So let's jump to that part. Sorry, there is a technical error here. Okay. So this is the fourth example, which shows how the relationship between two interfaces can be established using the extend keyword. That is, we can have inheritance between two interfaces. So what I have done, there is an interface parent. Inside that, I have the abstract method mParent. The interface closes here. Next, what I am doing, interface child extends parent. So extends parent. Next, inside the child class, inside the child interface, we have this abstract method mchild. What we are doing next, class interface inheritance, I just written the short form, implements child. What it is doing, it is simply implementing the child. It does not have to implement the parent anymore, because anyways we are going to get access to their abstract method of parent, because child is extending parent, right? So next, what we are doing, we are overriding the method of parent interface, that is mParent, this one. And we are also overriding the method, abstract method of the child interface, that is mchild, right? And what I mean, inside this particular mParent, we are just printing hi, and inside mchild, we are printing hello. Just what we are doing, public static void main string argument, we are creating an object of this particular class interface inheritance by using new keyword and default constructor of the same class. And using that particular object, we are calling both the overridden methods of parent interface as well as child interface, because both the overridden method has got its definition from definition inside that interface inheritance class. Therefore, when the methods are called, they are pointing to this particular two overridden methods. Next, inside the code, we will see how the code works. I hope you are all able to see that particular code. Just a minute, let me check something. Yeah. Okay. So what we have done is that just the same thing that I have shown already on the board. That is interface parent. Interface parent, I have named the first interface as parent, and inside that I am having method of parent, just the signature. Next, what I am doing, interface child extends parent. So we are establishing a relationship of inheritance between this interface named child and the interface named parent. Inside the child interface, what do we have? We have signature of another method. The method name is method underscore of underscore child. So we all have to implement this interface, as there is no point in having the interface. So what we are doing, class interface inheritance implements child. We can give any name to this particular interfaces. We can give any name to this particular child. You don't have to copy the same code. You can give your own name. Just I'm showing you this structure of the code, how this thing works in the simplest form. So next, what we are doing, we are overriding the method of parent, because we are getting access to the method of parent since we are implementing child interface, and the child interface has extended the method parent interface. Therefore we can get access to the method of that particular parent interface. So we are overriding the same here, public void method underscore of underscore parent, and we are simply printing that it is a parent. Next, what we are doing, we are overriding the method of the abstract method of child interface, and we are printing a child. What the next line of codes that follow are public static void main string argument. We are creating an object of the particular class interface inheritance using new keyword and default constructor of the same class. Using the particular object, we are calling both the overridden methods that got its definition inside that particular class. So let's see what the output is coming to be. See, parent and child. Okay, so as we have given the print statements as parent and child, we can see that we get to access both the overridden methods, and therefore the relationship of inheritance is getting established successfully. Let's jump to the next example. This is our fifth example. This example shows how default method can be included inside an interface. We have already told that in an interface, we cannot provide a body of the method. Body of the method along with its functionality. We are only supposed to provide the signature of that particular method. But if we want to give a welcome message kind of thing, we can give a default method to that particular interface, and to have definition of a method in an interface, it either has to be a default method or it can be a static method. Okay, these are the only two ways that by which we can provide definition of a method. Else, other than that, any normal method, any complete normal method cannot be written within an interface. That is why we say that 100% abstraction can be implemented using interface. So in this example, we will go through how we are supposed to write a default method. So this is interface. The interface name is check, and to write a default method, the method name is message, MSG. It is having a return type of void, and we are preceding that with the keyword default. Simply we write the keyword default followed by the return type and the name of the message. Inside that we are printing that this is a default message. You can give a welcome message, you can give good morning, whatever you want. We are closing this particular default method, and we are closing the scope of the interface here. Next, a class trapezium implements check. Inside that class, we don't need to write anything, because this particular example is supposed to show you how this particular method works, right? So we don't need any body for this particular class. It just has to implement this particular method. Okay, this particular interface. Next, what we are doing inside class test, we are providing public static void main string argument using the reference of this particular interface check. We are using a reference of this particular interface. The name of the reference is C. We are turning it into an object using the new keyword and the default constructor of this particular class, which is implementing the interface, because the interface itself does not have a constructor, so we cannot instantiate an object from the interface. We have to use the class which is implementing that particular interface. Next, you are using this particular object C and calling the method MSG, this default method MSG. So we are supposed to get for this line of code, we are supposed to get default message as our output. In the code, we will see how this works. I hope you all are able to see this example that is of default how we are implementing the default method inside an interface. Okay, so what I have done, same thing that I have shown on board. This is interface check, and inside that I am having a default. Notice this is I'm mentioning the keyword default method message, which has a return type void, and inside that I'm just simply printing default message. So next we have a class trapezium, and this particular class is just implementing this interface, and there is nothing else inside the class. So class interface default, within that we have our main method, and we are creating using the reference of the interface check. The reference name is C. We are turning it into an object or allocating memory to the same using the new keyword and the default constructor of the class which is implementing the interface. Using this object C, we are calling the default method message. So let's see how this works. Yes, we are getting default message as output, which is in the print statement of the default method MSG, right? So this is how we are going to implement a default method. Next, we will be seeing how we implement a static method. Okay, just a minute. Uh, This is possibly the last example that I am going to show you for interface. And there is also another example of nested interface, but it is pretty easy. So I will just put the same inside your inside the notes that I share in your Google Classroom. For this one, we are going to show that how we can also add method definition in an interface if we declare the method as static. I have already mentioned that we can add definition of a method in an interface if it is a default method. Next, this is an example of how, a second way of how we can add definition to a method inside an interface by making that method a static. So what I am doing is that I have taken an interface draw. Inside that I have static int cube, and I am passing a parameter int x. This is going to return an integer. So return, I am calculating cube x into x into x, and I'm closing that particular interface here. I have to close the interface here, right? So next, what I am doing, class keyword implements this particular interface draw. I am not mentioning anything inside that particular class keyword because there is no point in giving any class body to it. We are just going to see how, if this particular code works or not. Next, in class test, we have our main methods, and we are here. What we have done, we have taken a reference of draw, and we are creating an object out of it. But this object will not play any role. What will play a role is the reference of this particular interface. So draw d equals to new circle. Let it be. In the print method, what we are doing, system.out.println, what we are doing, we are using a reference of that particular interface. Reference is draw.cube, and we are passing the value int x. For int x, we are passing the value as 5. So this 5 is getting stored inside x, and we are supposedly going to get return of x into x into x. That should be giving us a 125. But this is where your concentration should be. The signature, how we are going to call a static method that has got its definition inside an interface body, is that we are going to use a reference, we are going to use the interface name draw dot the name of the method, which is static. So let's see in the code how this works. So this is the example that I was talking about. Interface draw, the name of the interface is draw. Inside that we have this static method cube. We are passing a parameter here int x, and since it has a return type int, so it will be returning some integer value which we will be obtaining by multiplying the parameter 3 times. So we are actually getting a cube, x cube. Next, class keyword implements draw, but this class has been used only to implement that particular interface. We are not adding any body to that particular class keyword. Next, what we are doing, class test interface static, yeah, public static void main. We have written draw d equals to new keyword. Next, what we are doing, we are simply print. Sorry, there has been a mistake. Just a minute. Yeah. So what I am doing is this system.out.println. I am using the interface name draw dot the name of the method, which is static, and I'm passing the value for intakes as 5. So let me see what the output is coming to be. Yeah, so I'm getting the value 125. You can see here I'm getting the value 125. We also don't need to have any create a reference of the interface draw with the D and make it into an object. That is also not needed. So I have removed that particular line inside main method. We are only having system.out.println name of the interface dot the name of the static method with the parameter as 5. So let's see if we are getting the same output 125 or not. Yes, we are still getting the same output 125. So all we need is that the name of the interface and the name of the static method. So here we come to the end of this topic, interface, and the entire concept of abstraction. I hope everything is clear to you. If you have any doubt, please mention it in the comment section, or you can mention the same in your class group. The assignment for today is that you have to run all the codes that has already been mentioned in the video, make a file of it, and submit it as an assignment in your Google Classroom. The whatever I have shown in the video, the same has been transferred into a note and has been published in your Google Classroom, so you can go through it. And also I will be adding another example, that is of nested interface. You can, once you get a hang of what interface is, you will be able to understand what a nested interface is. So we will be meeting with you in the next video with a new topic of Java, and till then, stay safe, stay at home. Thank you.